The morning sunlight spilled through the half-open curtains, glimmering across the pale face of Sarah Malik, a 27-year-old woman sitting on the edge of her bed, clutching a folded piece of paper in her trembling hands. Her breathing was shallow, her heartbeat uneven, the words on the note blurred as tears filled her eyes again. "I can't do this anymore. I'm sorry, Sarah. Don't try to find me." It was signed Armin. Her husband, the man she had trusted with her soul, the man whose child she was carrying in her womb. He had walked out of her life 2 nights ago without a fight, without closure, leaving behind shattered dreams and a woman who didn't know how to breathe without him. If you believe in kindness, forgiveness, and second chances, please take a moment to like, comment, share, and subscribe to Soul of Light, where every story reminds us that light can still rise after the darkest night. Sarah had met Armin 4 years ago in Lahore. He was charming, ambitious, and full of dreams, a software engineer with a calm smile that could make the world pause. She was an art teacher, painting sunsets and lives with equal warmth. They fell in love quickly, and within a year they were married. Life was simple, filled with laughter, shared breakfasts, late night talks, and the kind of peace that made her believe love was forever. But forever has a way of breaking. When Armin lost his job, his confidence began to crumble. Weeks turned into months, rejections piled up, and bills began to suffocate their small apartment. Sarah tried to help by taking extra art classes, selling handmade crafts online, and assuring him that things would get better. But Armin stopped looking her in the eyes. The man who once promised to protect her now avoided conversations altogether. Then, one evening, she told him she was pregnant. She expected him to hold her, to smile, to whisper, "We'll be okay." But instead, he stared at her blankly, as though the weight of those words crushed him deeper. He said nothing. That night, he packed his bag and disappeared. For days, Sarah wandered between grief and disbelief. She tried calling him, messaging him, even visiting his friends. But Armin had vanished completely. His number was off, his family didn't know where he was, and his workplace had long forgotten him. Her world grew smaller and colder with each passing day. When her baby bump began to show, whispers followed her everywhere. Neighbors talked, friends faded. Even her own relatives, embarrassed by Armin's abandonment, stopped calling. Yet she held on to her unborn child, to faith, to the faint hope that one day he might return. By the 7th month, she had moved to a smaller place near the outskirts of the city, working as a part-time art teacher at a community school. It wasn't much, but it was something. She named the baby before he was even born Ion, gift of God. Every night she painted small canvases for him, stars, moons, smiling suns, so he would grow up surrounded by love even if the world had failed her. One humid afternoon, while leaving work, Sarah felt a sharp pain ripple through her stomach. The sky was a blur of white and gold, but her vision darkened. She collapsed on the roadside, clutching her belly, calling out faintly for help. A passer-by, a middle-aged shopkeeper named Khalid, rushed her to the hospital. Hours later, she gave birth to a fragile, premature baby boy. The doctors warned her that Ion's chances were slim. His tiny lungs struggled, his body trembling beneath the wires. Sarah refused to leave his side. She sat by the incubator, whispering lullabies, promising him that she'd never abandon him, not like his father did. For the next 2 weeks, she lived inside that hospital. Every heartbeat of that tiny chest became her purpose. Slowly, miraculously, Ion began to recover. When the nurse finally placed him in her arms, Sarah wept uncontrollably. It was as if all the pain she'd endured found its answer in that one fragile smile. 3 years passed. Sarah had built a small but beautiful life. Her paintings started selling locally, then online. A small art studio in the city offered her a position as a creative director, and her talent was beginning to be recognized. Ion, now a lively toddler with curious brown eyes, became her entire universe. He was the reason she woke up smiling, the reason she survived. She never spoke of Armin. To her, he was a closed chapter, a ghost in the past. But fate, as it often does, had one more turn waiting. One afternoon, as Sarah was setting up her art exhibition at a local gallery, she heard a familiar voice behind her, low, shaky, filled with disbelief. Sarah, her heart froze. Slowly she turned around, and there he was, Armin. He looked nothing like the man who had left her. His once confident posture was replaced with frailty. His hair had grown messy, his face thinner, his clothes worn out. For a moment silence swallowed the world between them. Then he spoke, his eyes glistening. "I've been looking for you for a year." Sarah's lips trembled, but no words came out.